Okay, so what we've got here is a boiler return trap. It's not really a trap like that thing. This is really you might say a steam-powered pump. And this is sort of a leftover from the coal era, because when this was fired with coal, what could happen is, since you couldn't really turn down a coal fire, and it was somewhat tricky to control, sometimes the pressures would get too high. And in that case, it was really important to put the water back into the boiler without using any electricity, because the electricity could be was a little iffy back in the day. And so what would happen is, if the pressures got too high, and I want to say here anything above a pound is too high. Usually these things are designed to tootle along at about a half a pound. So if the water rises up in this pipe, you would be able to see in the sight glass, inside of here was a float, and the float would rise up as the water rose up and would hit a valve up here, would trip a valve, and that would allow steam from the main. This is the steam supply here. The boiler would be attached to here and will be again, perhaps by tomorrow. The steam would be fed in here, push down on the water here, causing the check valve, the inboard check valve, to slam shut, and the water to then be pushed through this check valve and back into the boiler. So we're going to be tying this into here, the Harford loop, and that is how that is supposed to work. And basically, in summary, and there were dozens and dozens of varieties of this type of return trap, or had several names for them, but this is Milwaukee. See if we get a good shot. Milvalco, Milwaukee Valve Company, and this is the crossover trap, and that's the end of the steam main, and the steam would, the air and the water would arrive at the end. The water would be going down here, back to the boiler, and the air would be pushed out through this and into the dry return, that's right here, and would leave out of this vent here. And if steam ever got in here, this would shut like any steam vent. This is the only vent in the entire system. So all of the air must exit through here. So we're going to take this off and put a bigger vent on here. This one, again, was designed for the coal era. This had a disc in here, which was, pardon my doing this one-handed here, that the disc was designed to allow the air to leave but not return, and would leave this system in a vacuum, which was fine back in the days of the coal era. When the coal bed burned down, you would still be able to generate steam at subatmospheric pressures. It's really cool. So I have a suspicion that this guy failed in the open position and was allowing steam into here and was shutting off the vent, and this thing was short cycling. And so there was a lot of air trapped in this system, and that was keeping the steam from getting into a lot of the radiators or filling them. So this was where the other trap was, and we have replaced it with a nice Barnes & Jones big mouth trap, which should let the air out of this main pretty quickly. Let me come over here, and this is the trap we removed and replaced with the big mouth. There's the top. This cover, you would probably get a spud wrench and take this cover off, and you would gain access to a screw which would adjust the internals. Someone has really given this a hot supper and tried to get it apart. We were able to get it apart with the impact. Give me a minute here. There we go. Pardon me. So this comes out, and there's the element. This was soldered on. This was the seat here that broke off, and I think it broke off during the impact. I don't think it was broken off originally. And there is the other end there. That's what it closes up against. And this is the element, the bellows, which contain the magic fluid, which would expand and contract in the presence or absence of steam, and should shut. And I think it failed in the open position, allowing steam to pass. And there's the screw, which you could adjust by removing the cap. Modern traps don't do this anymore. They come preset at the factory, and that's pretty much it. This was one way of them distinguishing from the dozens of other traps. This is the Barnes & Jones booklet, and I don't know, there's no number here, so it's one of these, and you probably need a new cover and of course a new element. I'm going to guess it's probably this one, the 0. That is the news here, and discussing a boiler return trap. And again, I really appreciate your questions and your support, and thank you.